Okay, very good. Okay, I will call this meeting to order if I can, please. The first item I like to ask on here is not on your minutes, but the public audience. Do we have a public audience at all tonight? All right, hearing none at this time, we'll move on. Secondly, I need to take just a minute of your time, everybody. I don't know if he came back or not, but if he's here or not, but we have a very famous person sitting on our meeting here, and I think we should know who he is and what he's done. But Tom
You're talking
Roy,
about me, Dick?
no, I'm talking about Tom Roy. Tom
Oh.
Roy has been I forget that committee that you're getting, Tom. What's that? He got elected and he got appointed by the National Architects Association with what is the name of that that you got? Talk to us about
I
it.
appreciate you taking the time out of the meeting to recognize it. I received a award from the American Public Works Association for
Right.
for management, having to do with how the town handled our COVID processes for all of our snowplow operations.
Right, but it's the first one for the state of Connecticut, the first one for the town of Simsbury, and I'd like every one of us to thank him and in our minutes say that the Board of Public Works really appreciates and congratulates you for what you've done for the town of Simsbury. Hopefully I have a motion to do, I'll do that in motion. Do I have everybody supporting that? Aye?
Yes.
Aye, thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll get to our meeting.
Thank you all, really.
Seriously, Tom, thank you. Okay, the first item on our agenda tonight is the minutes for April 4th. Do we have any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to accept them?
So
Lucy?
moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second? You want to second them, please?
Second.
Second, okay, Tom Egan, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So carried. Okay, then moving on to the next item. Next item is our roofing project. And our roofing project sits here with Alan Jodakonski. You're on, Al.
Thank you, Dick. I'm going to jump to 2B, which is the punch list, and then we'll get back to Greenwood's application.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday-
Punch list first.
Pardon me?
Do the punch list first, please.
Yep. So last Wednesday, October 27th, we reviewed the original punch list that was prepared for the project. Jason Casey, Andy O'Brien, and Louis Maquette were present at the walkthrough. Most of the items were identified as complete. We did have some outstanding items, and we did add 5 additional items to the list. Between last Wednesday and today, they actually did complete 3 other items. The manufacturer's warranty was issued. We have that in hand, which is important. And we also did confirm that they did pay 2 vendors for damages that were caused during the roofing project. The 5 items that were added, there was a bad motor on one of the fans that were replaced. There's some mortar that needs to be
Hold
cleaned.
on.
Yep.
Can you refer those to the numbers you have listed on this report so we know which one you're talking about?
Yep, item 1, the
Yep.
manufacturer's warranty was actually completed since we issued this punch list. Item 10 and item 11 are now complete.
These are now complete. Okay, that's.
They're not complete, but we did add item 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23.
Right.
I did speak to Jerry Cassell, who's the project manager, and he assures us that before your next meeting, this is going to be 100% complete, and we will be able to close out the project.
Oh, my God. This thing has been going on for a long time.
A little bit, yeah. We did have some extras, and I think COVID had a little play in the delay of especially the fans that we added to the project.
Interesting. All right, so we're all set with you, and we have an invoice now from Greenwood Industries. Is that correct?
Correct. It's their application number 9. It's for $111,590.45.
Right. Hang
Still
on,
leaves a-
invoice number 255821 for $111,590.45. So I hear a motion to accept. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. Anything
Dick,
else you got there?
Well, that still leaves us a balance of $101,831.62, which is plenty of money to cover the remaining punch list items.
Okay, that was my
And
question.
hopefully at your June meeting, that'll be the last meeting that I have to attend, even though I'll be more than happy to join you guys in July.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Good night. Have a
We're all
good meeting.
set. Yep. Take
See ya.
care.
Bye.
Right.
Okay, next item on the agenda is our biggie. We can start with this. This is the Latimer Lane School. Okay, I guess we
right.
start with John. John, you're on.
Good evening. You've all seen the written report, highlights from the report. We are on track with the schedule as we presented last month. We're a month into our 3-month construction documents preparation phase. Recent conversations, we know that the superintendent is working with the Board of Finance to see about mechanisms for some supplemental funding to get us in the door with OSCG to get our plan review when the time comes. As far as professional services, in the short term, we should start thinking about procuring a materials testing and inspection company. Obviously, we're not going to break ground, imminently, but that'll be on our horizon to get that other consultant into the project team. As far as other consultant progress, we are making progress with the environmental company. They have provided their report on the building materials. They're in the process of gearing up for soil borings for the phase 2 site analysis that's being coordinated with the school principal, and looks as though we're able to stay away from testing days to keep from making any noise there. We have been meeting with the design team and the construction manager to talk about the overall project schedule and the opportunities for an early bidding phase, as we had spoken of previously. And I think we got Dave Cravenzola to provide us some highlights on where that effort is leading.
Let's go back to what you said. We need to come up with a construction consultant, you said?
Materials and testing and inspection laboratory will need to be added before we start construction. So sometime in the next several months.
Okay, so we don't have to do that right away. To get them on board.
Nothing imminently.
Okay, you'll bring us up to date. Okay.
Right. But the next category in my report is regarding construction, and we've done some investigations out in the field and learned some things this month. And then O&G has got some ideas on how to procure some long lead items. So Dave, would you take it away?
Sure. Good evening. How's everyone doing?
Good day.
Good. Okay, so a couple things I'll touch on. So as Jack mentioned, we did do a series of investigations over the course of the past month, just both inside and outside of the building, involving what was there for the condition of piping systems in and around the building. A couple things that we can, I believe, safely put to bed as a result of it is that given what we found in the building with the existing piping beneath the slabs, that the possibility of reusing any of that piping, we've not been able to take that and move that any further because of the condition of the existing piping.
None of it?
No, it's just that there are too many unknowns and just blockages and inability to really verify truly the integrity of the system. So that was the good news, is that through our value engineering, we had not placed any solid numbers on that. It was always a potential that we were going to look at. So we're not taking a step in the wrong direction from a budget standpoint, but it's a savings that we can no longer pursue at this point, given the condition of the piping. As far as utilities outside of the building, we fed all of that information, both interior and exterior, to the design team. And I'll let, if there's anything for the design team to weigh in as far as if there's any major steps that they're going to take with that information. I think for the most part, we were able to verify some things and, and just make sure that what was on those existing documents was truly accurate relative to locations and sizes and inverts of some of the key piping system outside of the building. Are there any
That's not done
questions?
yet? That hasn't been done yet? That has not yet been done?
No, that was the investigative work that we did complete.
Oh, okay. Any questions of O&G at this point? Okay, moving on. Go ahead.
So now turning to the schedule, as Jack had mentioned, we've been talking now about the volatility in the procurement of materials and ways of of combating that with our pre-con approach. So we've identified some work that we believe we would want to identify as early packages of materials or scope of work that we would release based upon essentially 50% construction documents, which Tecton, I believe, could have ready in approximately about a week's time. Some of the key things there are roofing, that package, which would actually likely be labor and material. In talking to different roofing contractors, there's some difficulties in just procuring the material and then that handoff when it comes time for installation. So that would be the labor and material associated with the roofing. The key there is making sure the detailing, the roof plans are pretty much squared away. Doing switchboards and panel boards, as we're seeing lead times on switchgear now up to almost a year duration in getting that. We did recently have something come up. We found out about ductile iron pipe, which we're looking at that as far as possibly a PVC change, or we may have to add that into that package as well. And I know so there's some various things we're identifying to be in that package. There's a couple things with that though, is that in talking with Jack and Justin a little earlier today, we need to get in front of OSCG&R and just make sure that we have a clear outline as to their requirements for bringing a pre-purchase scope of work to them, to see if it follows a typical PCR process with approval, or if there's any sort of deviations from
With
that
who?
process.
I'm sorry, with who?
OSCG&R.
Okay.
The state for the grant, to make sure that what we're doing is eligible for reimbursement.
Yeah, that's first, I guess, isn't it?
Yep. So we had identified that in a call earlier today, that's a key phone call we need to make, is getting Bob Selmer and company at the state in the room or on the phone to talk about the mechanics of making this early package work. One of the other things,
when you're talking about early package, do you have a date for the early package?
I do. I would say this early package. Bear with me 1 second.
I can jump in here. We discussed May 27th for having the early package ready.
Thank you,
The
Justin.
architect side, but when are you gonna go out for bid is the question.
We'd be going out to bid. Sorry, hold on 1 second.
Well, as Justin said, with documents available the end of May, we'd need to do some estimating and then have our meeting with the state. In order to have the meeting with the state, we have to come before you as well as the Board of Ed
Right.
in order to approve the package that's going to the state. So it may be necessary to have a special meeting in the middle of June, because I don't think our regular
Right.
meeting in June is very early in the month. So we may need to ask you for a special meeting in order to get those plans approved, hold our meeting with the state, and with any luck, be able to hit the street around the first week of July.
I thought we have already applied to the state and have gotten approval on a partial on the project.
We have for design development. Now this will be the first portion of construction documents that needs their permission to go out to bid. So we looped through their office several times throughout the course of the project.
Wow. I thought it was once. All right.
We'd all like it to be once, trust us, but
Yeah.
it's that easy. Essentially what the early package would do is it would give us about a 3 to 3.5 month jump on procurement of some of these key items, which, really is the way that the schedule is shaking out. As we identified earlier, we had the phase 1, which would be approximately a 12-month duration. Then we would transition to phase 2, which is predominantly the renovations, which is another 6 months. And then phase 3, which is the final renovations, which was the last set of 6 months of construction. So
18 months.
So the idea of the pre-purchase is so that if we don't do the pre-purchase, essentially this approximate 3.5 to 4 months is time that once we bid the entire project, we would essentially need to leave that gap of time at the start of the project to allow the procurement of all of these lead time materials. Because if we bid the project without a pre-purchase, and we start work, we can, I do want to talk about pre-detailing of the reinforcing steel. I know, so just bear with me one moment on that.
Well, how do we know that? How do we know that the pre-purchase that those prices are competitive? If we don't get a point price?
It's going to be publicly competitively bid.
Oh, it is. Okay, that's the question.
Yep.
Okay.
So we could start some of the work. We could likely get through site work, foundations, steel, but then we would hit our first delay when we get to roofing and the inability to put a roof on the building. So if we start early, all you're going to do then is you're going to be paying for everyone to be on the job for that much longer as we wait for those materials to arrive. So right now we're trying to get this early package out and make sure we're designing a schedule around that procurement so that when construction starts, it efficiently goes without those delays because of the inability to acquire this long lead material. So just with that, at last month's meeting, I know Tecton brought a proposal forth that was approved for pre-detailing of the structural steel. What we believe would be a value to the project as well is, in a similar way, doing pre-detailing of the concrete reinforcing steel. With similar situation as with the steel, if it's not done in design, then once the contractor is brought on board, they have to go through, come up with all of the detailed drawings, get the drawings stamped, they get submitted, they can then procure the reinforcing materials. Given some of the lead times in that material, we see an efficiency, a gain of probably 3 to 4 weeks at least in doing the detailing through the design process. I know this is new news and we just talked about it with Tecton today, but just to put it into perspective, on another project we just had it approved. This project, that project size is 310,000 square feet of a building, and the added services to pre-detail steel for that project was approximately $25,000. So I think that on this project, that effort, we would be safe with somewhere in the $7,000 to $12,000 or $15,000 range for that scope of services. If that's, like I said, I know we just talked about it today, so Tecton does not have some sort of added services for that, but if I'd like to see what the committee's.
What's your response, Jeff? Jeff?
Yeah, it's a similar, as David described, it's a similar kind of arrangement to the steel detailing, the structural steel detailing. And if it picks up time, then we would advocate for it. Again, it wouldn't be our structural engineer doing it. It would be similar to the structural steel detailer. It would be another detailer detailing the steel so that they can get ahead of the game. Basically, they get in front of the line when it comes to ordering the steel. So it picks up weeks. So you're going to pay for it, whether you wait for it and you go out to bid and do it in a what is considered a traditional format. You would pay for it then, or you can pay for it now and kind of trim some of the lead times. Unfortunately, these are some of the things that we're seeing in today's market. It's just, so we would be in favor of doing this, and we'd certainly help, coordinate this effort through ONG.
Lucian, you had a question? Lucian, you had a question?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tom, you're sitting up there. I know that you haven't been very much involved with schools, but are you seeing are you seeing any problems here, or
I think we're all seeing material shortages. Even earlier when they mentioned the challenge with ductile iron pipe, we've been seeing some challenges, probably not quite as significant, even getting PVC pipe and HDPE pipe.
right?
So there's certainly shortages, and what Jeff is saying in terms of you're going to pay for this detailing either through the contract or now, it seems to be a really smart way to pick up some time.
Okay, just want to make sure we're running in the right direction. John, you got any questions? You've been involved in quite a bit of this. Salvatore?
No, I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, it truly makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't see any problem with it.
All right. Anybody else got any comments? Okay. Anything else? Moving on.
Well, to that end, so that we don't have to wait until next month's meeting, we'd like to capture this next month as an opportunity to get that consultant on board and get them moving. so that could be part of this bid package that we ask the state to approve.
Yeah,
Could we have an approval from the committee for a not to exceed, Dave, what was the top end you thought?
I'd say
15,000.
So not to exceed 15, and obviously we'll report out the actual findings at next month's
Okay.
meeting, and we'll be halfway down the pike.
Rich, you want to make that a motion?
Yeah, so moved.
No, second.
To exceed 15,000 for getting the engineering firm aboard
Either for rebar detailing.
for rebar detail. Okay.
Right.
Okay. You got that, Jan?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, we're all set to move on. I have a invoices for this project, if I can find them. They're in the package here. I guess the first one is with Tecton. Invoice number 44998 for an amount of $139,567. Is that correct? $139,567.
Yeah,
Tecton?
that's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
That's
can
what
I
I
have a
have, yeah.
motion, please?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? So carried. Okay, then we have an invoice from O&G. O&G invoice 554946. The amount of $27,307. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Second. Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, then the next one is from TRC. Invoice number 526287 for the amount of $12,227.50. We hear a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second? Or second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
Mike Egan, okay, second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
So approved. Okay, that takes care of our invoices. Any other business?
Tecton's
I have a
report.
question, Dick.
Yeah,
I just heard about, the schedule and even the concern of when the drawings are ready. How has this impacted our total budget?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I said, how is all this scheduling where we are now? It seems like we are behind. I mean, with drawings, when we're gonna start, how's it
Right.
affected our schedule with O&G's cost? Arcadis's cost?
Okay, yeah, good question. John, Jack, anybody want to talk about that?
Yeah, we are experiencing a longer design duration than what was, well, in the context of Arcadis's contract, for longer number of months than what we were hired for. So there will be an ad service at some point to clean up the books on that.
Is that taken into account? Are you budgeting that into the numbers so far? Or are you thinking that's?
Well, we're working with, round numbers. We've got, about 1.3 million to make up, based on
Right.
after the value engineering that was approved last month. We have not put pen to paper to calculate, the extended construction administration period for Tecton, or the extended design or construction period for Arcadis. But we can, now that we seem to be on a pretty consistent track as far as the updated schedule, we'll be able to put that together in the next month. As far as the overall schedule, as I think everyone's aware, we invested some time, a good number of weeks in getting a handle on the costs after the design development estimate came out. The opportunity to do an early package, say, out to bid in March. Once we got into design with O&G on board, we explored that potential, and it just didn't quite add up, especially with the supply chain problems that we're having. There really wasn't that much that we were going to gain by trying to kickstart something this spring. So now the kind of middle of the road, make up some time opportunity with this early procurement package, kind of blunts the effects of what's happening in the market and the fact that we couldn't get that earlier start. So I think I won't call this the best case scenario. I think it's the least
Right.
worst based on the conditions that we're experiencing right now.
But what are you, I mean, what are you anticipating, for extended duration? I'm just curious because there was, I'm not sure there was, I know we gave you a defined time frame, but I'm not sure
Right.
where we are in relation to that.
Yeah.
I mean, are you looking for like 3 months? You think it'd be 3 months extra, 4 months, 5 months extra? I'm not
Oh,
sure.
no, at this point, I would assume.
Yeah,
Uh,
with Arcadis, we were told, figure 6 months worth of design phase from the point we were hired.
Right.
We're, right now, we worked the month of April without submitting an ad service. May and June, by the end of June, July 1st, I believe, is the deadline for construction document 100% completion. So
Okay.
that really it's April through June for us. And then
Okay.
we were asked for 18 months of construction, and now we're talking 24. So it'll be 6 months on the far side.
Well, because excuse me, but that brings me to the same with O&G. I mean, because you I figured a 18 months schedule.
No, actually, no, when we,
Mm-hmm.
no, I believe there must have been something that was modified between solicitation of the architect and owners rep and us, because our contract is based upon a 24-month construction.
24 months is what we had, yeah.
So
we did
we have
that.
that. The only thing, and again, at this point, that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to, even though we have these procurement items, we're trying to make sure that we don't extend out that 24 months by just waiting for material. So we're going to be fine there. But there will be some level of an extension of our pre-construction services, because I believe we had 7-month duration there, and through this process, I believe that's going to be a few months longer.
Okay. No, I just think it's good that comes out now that we're aware.
Yeah, along those lines, Mr. Chairman, I think what John is talking about is helpful. And because they have 3 different contracts with these 3 different design team players, I think it would be good for us to just have a, rough cost per month of each design team member, what it's going to cost. And so when we're thinking about going 6 months over, 3 months over, we're saving a month, we're losing a month, we can kind of put some numbers to this, because I think this is going to be a constant stretching of time.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, 24 months, I think, is going to be an aggressive schedule for O&G to maintain, and I would love to see that happen. I feel it's going to go beyond that, and I think we need to know how much more money we're going to be looking at for all these different services as soon as we can. Even it's just a rough estimate per month.
Talking to the 3 of you, can we get that in the next meeting?
Yes.
Jeff saying yes, John saying yes,
Yes.
Dave saying yes, okay.
Yes.
And by the month, rather than,
Right.
okay, you think it's going to take 3 months more, and that's how much money you think you need, or it's going to take 6 months more, or so, just by the month, so
By the
we'll
month.
know, and we can calculate it out how far behind we are, and
Yep.
things will
Understood.
change, and then everybody will
Okay.
know what's going on.
They've got it.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
great.
exactly right, Richard.
They're gonna do this for us for next month, okay?
Yes.
Any other questions, comments? Yes, Michael?
So what's the reason for the slip in the design period? I know we had a little bit of a hang up with the conflict of interest, but I thought that was only a month, and that didn't really stop design.
So
No,
this is, if I can field that one, this is Justin from TechCon, and Jeff, you can backfill if I misspeak here. We basically spent, so the design durations have not changed, design development, construction documentation. CDs have always been 3 months. What changed is we basically took from the beginning of March meeting to the beginning of April meeting, doing our cost estimate reconciliation. As you recall, I think we had 3 meetings within
Right.
that span where we were trying to bring recovery budget into line with the establishment of alternates and answering some design questions, specifically with the HVAC system, in order to take us from an overage of approximately $5 million down to where we are now, which is a little north of $1 million. So that, frankly, is almost the entirety of the slippage in the
Right.
schedule.
We knew that was coming, Mike. It was just a matter of how much time. We just couldn't put a number to
You
it.
said that we were 3 months behind on the design.
Yeah, I was measuring from the date we were hired and what we were told to carry. So I'm just looking at completion of documents versus the data that was given to us at the proposal phase.
Right.
So in the context of my contract, it's a three additional months.
But there's only an explanation for 1 month.
Again, it was the information that Arcadis was given when our contract was being negotiated, and we weren't negotiating with Tecton. We were negotiating with the committee at that point. So,
Right.
so two different sets of
Saying our
data.
RFP never aligned with how long it was going to take Tecton.
No, we didn't have that information in front of us.
Mike, I think that's correct. I think what happened is there was an anticipation when Arcadis came on board that we were going to have drawings, I think, in March.
Right.
Right.
And that was probably not realistic.
That wasn't realistic when we did, right?
Yeah, leave it there.
Didn't know. And that was basically, and I'm not blaming Jason, but it's basically based on what was going on with the Board of Education and all what was going on with the local staff, so on and so forth. But we were kind of aware of it. We didn't have any dates to really tie to it to make it reasonable. If you remember, we went through a lot with John. It was really tough going when we get started. So, any other comments? Hearing none? Okay, I think the other thing we have to talk about is when do you want a next meeting?
Will we be taking a report from Tecton tonight?
Tecton, I'm sorry. We didn't talk to Tecton. Eventually he gave us very brief. I thought it was a very brief. And do I have any more to add, Jeff?
Mr. Chairman, I'll be brief. We are approximately 30% through construction documentation. We've been continuing to meet with the Simsbury Public Schools and Principal Lazzetti. Some of our focus meetings in the last month have been to review the audiovisual technology and security requirements. We also held an in-person meeting related to interior finishes and materials, where we brought some finished samples to Latimer Lane and reviewed them with Mike, Neil, and some of the faculty members. We continue to have consultant coordination meetings weekly with the emphasis on making sure that we incorporate the alternates and the value management items that were discussed at our last meeting. At our next meeting, we anticipate having the full official list with the ordering of the alternates for review and approval by the PBC. Also, we have been coordinating with Ram Drafting, who is the steel detailer that was selected at the last PBC meeting. And I'm remiss if I didn't include Jason in those meetings as well. I'm sorry, Jason. I saw you there, and when I was listing you, I didn't see your name. So
no problem. Neil or Mike, any comments, questions?
So you just said by our next meeting, you're going to have that grocery list ready for us. So you're thinking that's going to be in 30 days?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so that gets us to what Dick, the chairman, was asking when we want to have the next meeting.
Well,
Sounds like
yeah, but hold on. John is asking for a meeting sooner to get through our problems with for the state. Is that correct?
No, I'm saying that in June, we'll probably need a mid-month meeting.
All right, well, our next official meeting would be June 6th.
right.
Is that okay?
We're good till then.
We're good till then.
Okay, we're all set until then?
Yes.
Any comments? Okay, so I'm going to have Janice know that our next meeting is, and do we want to do a Zoom?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Zoom makes a lot of sense for us to do it that way, much easier. Eric, I'm sorry, I see you just came aboard. Do you have any comments from the Board of Selectmen?
Taking myself off of mute. No, not tonight. It's been really helpful to get this update tonight and hear the conversation.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay. All right, so our next meeting will be via Zoom on June 6th. Anything else? Yes, Lucian.
So can we talk about the layouts and what's being presented, what was sent forwarded to us?
Go ahead. What do you want to say?
I don't know. The architect presents us. I mean, last meeting we had discussions about eliminating the mechanical room on the main floor and using the basement, the 2,000 square feet that we have in the basement for mechanical and electrical.
Sure.
What's going on with that?
So solution, we've been working on that, space proofing all the equipment right now. We're thinking fire protection and the plumbing service is gonna all live down there. Water heaters, main service riser for fire protection service. I think we're gonna also move some of the pumps downstairs, but I do think we're still gonna need room upstairs to leave for one of the pump sets for the condenser pumps for the chillers, just so we don't have to go all the way down to the basement. And then also some more.
Go ahead.
Excuse me, Brian. Condenser pump, we have a air-cooled chiller. We don't have a water-cooled chiller. So you have chilled water and hot water pumps.
Yes, correct. So sorry, I misspoke. I want to keep the chill water pumps upstairs, not the condenser water pump.
Okay.
Correct solution.
And the reason for that?
So
what's the reason for that?
I just want to reduce the length of the piping runs of
Okay.
service.
We talked about this before, Lucian.
And Lucian, the other thing I want to keep upstairs too is just that heater chiller that we're proposing too. I'm just nervous with getting it down those stairs. It's just tight with access, is why I want to leave some of that equipment upstairs.
What's the heater? I thought we are not doing geothermal. We are doing conventional boilers and chilled water, correct?
No, correct. But we were going to leave taps for future use. So I want to make sure that we space proof for that in the future.
Right.
We'll figure out in the future. It's not just the taps, it's also access, because you have only a relatively small door for that.
Yeah,
Right.
correct.
Okay. Anything else?
In the classrooms, we have only sinks, Justin. Do we need bubblers?
Bubblers as in water fountains?
Like in water fountains, yes.
Yeah, we are centralizing those in the locations of our plumbing cores. So there will be enough of a quantity to accommodate the occupant load. And those are typically up, down, as well as bottle filling stations that are located at basically in each node of the classroom wings. We would not be providing them individually in each classroom.
Right.
That was, to my knowledge, they prefer to have it in the classroom, especially in the kindergarten areas, so the kids, they don't have to go outside for a drink of water. So if they, and I don't know, did you discuss this with the school? What I've seen in elementary schools in the past, they have that definitely in the kindergarten area, classrooms.
We have discussed that with Principal Lizzetti. We'll make sure that we follow up with him as well. To my knowledge, we're comfortable with our layout of drinking fountains and lavatories within the classroom spaces.
Within the classroom space, it is, yeah.
Well, don't most kids use the bottle filling stations anyways?
Yeah.
Yes, at this point, most of our kids carry bottles with them.
Yeah.
So you're okay to have the kids go outside the classrooms?
Yeah,
Especially
and that's sort of the world that we've been living in over the last couple of years. As some of those fountains have gone down, it's proven to be a pretty efficient piece. It also builds in a little bit of a motor break for some of those kids as they need to go do that. So it winds up serving a couple of purposes.
Okay.
The same thing in the cafeteria. You don't need drinking fountains or bottle filler station?
I believe there's one in close proximity to the cafeteria space. Isn't that right, Justin?
Yes, there is.
At both entrances.
Covered that before.
Yep. And we can queue that up, Lucian, in a more focused floor plan update for our next meeting, just so that everybody's comfortable with the direction that we're moving.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just a little thing in the administrative area. I don't think we show the chimney, whatever that thing is, unless this is condensing and they are going through the wall. There'll be no chimney.
Brian, do you have an answer for that one?
Lucian, sorry, can you repeat that?
The chimney, Brian, where is the chimney for the boilers? It's in the administrative. I thought it was in the nursing area, nurses area, I think.
The chimney's going away. We're just gonna have to reroute the flues up and through the roof.
No
So you
chimney.
still have to go to the roof. You need a chase. You need something. For
Yes, yep.
Yeah, but these are the
coordinating that with
condensers, yes.
Tecton. Yes, we're coordinating that with Tecton.
Yep.
I think it's going to go through one of the closets that are kind of adjacent to the existing chimney now. It's just
Yeah.
a more efficient way to do it.
Yeah, it's not actually in the administrative area. It's across the hall.
Across the hall.
In that collection of storage closets between the maker space and the cafeteria, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Anybody else? Hearing none? Okay. Any other comments? Yes, Mike.
Follow-up question on that. So you're talking about changing the flues to the boilers that were just installed?
Yeah, well, it's also because where the flues are coming out is where a portion of the building is coming out now. So we're not gonna be able to reuse that space that we have.
Okay, is that going to affect the warranty that they have now for the ones that were installed?
No, it's not gonna affect the boiler warranty.
Any other questions? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All, oh, Rich Dur, you had a question?
No, I just second the motion.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, let me yet, but, okay, everyone, thank you very much. Have a nice week and a month, and we'll see you back on June 6th.